You are now listening to Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, the voice for the people. Join Richie alongside co-host property damage attorney Hans Kennon as they bring light to the taboo world of big insurance companies, exposing their tactics and fighting for justice. Hear stories from contractors across the state. Contractor Talk, here to protect homeowners and uncover the truth.
All right, welcome to the show. Good evening. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. There's the volume on the ears. There we go. And welcome to the show. 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial. If you're driving through Central Florida, you're listening to us right there. You have a second shot to hear us on Spotify, iTunes. In a few days, we package up this live show, put it anywhere you like to stream, and then we also take it over to YouTube. So check us out, like, subscribe our show there, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. ContractorTalkPodcast.com is where you find all the links to the show. And we're going back to straight up podcast scenario after 2 weeks. So I have to say that and make the announcement that, I love the live radio. We're going to focus on YouTube. We're going to focus on those, what Hans, you brought up on the
TED Talks?
Yeah, the TED Talks, right? I mean, we're going to pump out more direct, short, straight to the point type of insurance TED Talks. So talk you off of the ladder, off of the roof, really, for all of us. But we're going to come back with different ways to stream straight to you in Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, every one of those venues. So this is one of our last of our shows here on live radio. And like I said, you'll still be able to find us all those areas or all those places digitally. So if you're just listening to us on the radio now, go ahead and go over to Spotify, iTunes, find our show there, Contractor Talk, boom, and you'll be able to then save us. And every show that's then put up, you'll get a little ding that says, hey, a new show's been up. If you're on YouTube, same thing there. Subscribe us on that platform, and you'll be able to know every time we post a show, right? Every time that there is a Hans Dapper suit of the week right in there as we get to zoom in. At no point will you see Hans Kennon in the same attire in any one of our shows, and I dare you and implore you to go back and check out every one of our shows, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But what's going on, Hans? How are you doing tonight?
Good. No, I'm back at it. Always are. We're looking for some more weather. We saw there's a rotation off of Nicaragua, of all places. So that's been
a rotation.
A rotation.
Huh. So it hasn't quite hit any level, but it has hit a rotation level.
It has rotation, and it's always curiosity these days with weather at all. You know, we talk about El Nino this year is supposed to limit the amount of hurricanes that come out the Atlantic. But yeah, literally today there was a report, and I pulled it up on our trusty weather system there. There's some rotation, hasn't made it to the Gulf yet, but it's certainly still out there. So we always want everyone to be vigilant and be aware. I actually ordered new gas cans over the weekend, just because they're starting to get kind of beat up, and you don't want gas leaking in your garage or anything like that. So, and gas expands much more than you think. Like when you open up a can of gas, and it goes, those fumes will get you, man. You got to be careful. Don't be smoking or around open electrical or anything like that.
Yeah, those are those plastic containers, so it won't happen on the metal containers.
They just get kind of distended over time, and then I can get concerned about the seams and everything else. So, order some gas cans. Get ready for potential hurricane season and generator season. Got to get some LP, some liquid gas, some natural gas, or whatever you want to call it, LP gas. So if you got to run a grill, if you lose power or things along those lines, or help run your generator or whatever else may be, now's the time.
You're right. I mean, every time we hit the beginning of storm season, I start thinking about that same thing. I take the generator out front. I try to start it, call one of my mechanic buddies if I can. I'm like, hey, man, I think you need to clean the carburetor for me, man. It's stuck and won't start. And then we get started, and then, but either something happens or it doesn't. But from what I'm hearing is that this high pressure or low pressure from the north is continuing to push southward, which kind of is like putting those oscillating fans outside your door, just kind of blows everything the opposite direction. But I still think about that meme every time that hurricanes come in this direction and it misses Florida. It's just that I can say this because I'm a redneck. I was born in Kentucky in a trailer, but where it has that a picture of a redneck with a mullet and one tooth missing, and he has a fan outside. He's like, yeah, I protected my house. I blew that thing away. But anyways, this year they're saying there's going to be less storms, less named storms, but not by many.
About like 1.5 or something, or some odd calculation there.
Instead of 15 storms, there's going to be 13. Instead of so many named storms, like 4 or 5, it's going to be 3. So yeah, I mean, it's not as in last year they were saying about how crazy the storm season was, and we're definitely going to get hit with one of those balls of spaghetti.
Well, we talked about last year, though. I want to keep in mind that last year it wasn't that there were no storms. There were a ton of storms last year, but that high pressure did push them off of hitting Florida. So it wasn't people go, oh, there were no hurricanes last year. No. There was a ton of hurricanes last year. They just didn't hit us. So I think people kind of confuse those issues, and they go, oh, last year had no storms. Maybe this year will have no storms. Tons of storms, just some meteorological conditions that kept them from hitting us.
Yeah.
But they were there. They were there, and then they'll be here again. Just got to see what happens to them.
Right, and we've already seen some weird storms pop up. Even in Central Florida, back in April, we had some one-offs come through. Maybe a tornado.
Yeah, March 15th, where a lot of hail came through through Seminole County, Orange County.
Hell yeah, and those are some things to look out for outside of storm season, right? I mean, these weird pop-ups, and we're no stranger to it. Just like we're no stranger to earthquakes,
yes.
Which I never thought that we would see in Florida. But because we joke all the time, it's like we have a heck of a lot of volcano coverage here.
Right, earthquake coverage, we're ready.
Yeah, volcano and earthquake coverage here in Florida because we just never need it. Well, today is Monday. What is today? The 8th. And it was reported that, because we'll be on Spotify in a few days. So anyways, so today there was an earthquake that was reportedly hit just west of Cuba, and the effects were felt here in Florida. So much so that they closed down one of the downtown bank buildings and evacuated it.
And some rides at Disney, we hear.
Yeah, and that's crazy. And I must have been driving at that time and did not feel any of the effects. But it's interesting. Now, the news have at least stated that there's been no reported damages, that it wasn't that much felt, but it was like a 6-point something. 6.3
on the Richter scale.
Yes, and that was, that would be pretty significant if it was any closer. So,
well, I mean, keep in mind too, the Richter scale is not linear, so it's not like there's a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6, and they're each double. It's a non-linear scale. So the difference between a 4 and a 5 and 5 and a 6 is not just one more step. It's not incremental. It actually goes up exponentially. So
6.4, there it is,
there you go.
on the scale. And then no tsunami threat from that. So that's good news. Bad news for surfers. Good news for us as well, for not getting any type of wild, tall storm coming or surge rather coming from the west into the Gulf. So from the Gulf hitting the west side of Florida. So that's good. Dodge that bullet. But yeah, being prepared for hurricane season, storm season right now as it starts to rain every afternoon, and also humidity is high, and so now is the time to protect your home, maintain your home. You can call me at Air Quality Assessors to get your home inspected for mold if that's what's going on. 844-CALL AQA. Several ways to find us, airqualityassessors.com as well. Now, I say that because most of the time it's in the dry season and most people don't call and didn't do anything preventative on their home. But somebody that we've had here before that helps us prevent more or less you getting yelled at by your wife for not fixing things is back on our show today. And we talk about him all the time about most of the ththings that we don't like to do, Hans. For me, it's electrical and drywall and plumbing. I think I would be really good at drywall, but I'm just not good at it.
The worst thing I'm doing drywall is the 4 trips to Home Depot.
Yes.
That's usually what I'm worst at. I can do the work, but I'm like, I gotta. All right, I'll be back.
Yeah, you buy a bucket of mud and you put it. I always get the pink stuff, so when it dries, it's like
Dries white, right.
dries white, and it's there. Then I'm like, all right, let me sand it. I got this. I'm like, ooh, and then I'm like down into the metal part, and I'm like, well, that looks crappy, and then I got to do it again, and then I forgot to put the lid back on the tub really tight,
right?
And I come back to it, and it's just a hard brick,
right? It's all white. It's not pink anymore.
Back to the store,
yeah.
So. Definitely not good at that, but we have James Hole in the Wall Drywall, man. I mean, you've been not only a great guest, but something that someone that Hans and I talk about all the time here on the show. Is just such a great resource. But what's going on, James, and what you've been up to since last time we had you on the show?
Yeah, man, things are going great. We're quite busy at Hole in the Wall. We love the rescue jobs. Please keep doing all of your own repairs. And then call us to fix it when your wife yells at you. We do that. We call them rescue jobs for a reason.
I love that.
Frankly, I look at myself. I'm at the season in life where I am at the make a phone call, write a check mentality. My time is more valuable. I don't want to spend a weekend working on plumbing and drywall and electrical. I make a phone. I got a lot of great resources. Make a phone call, write a check. Although I did have holes in my ceiling for about 4 months that didn't get repaired, so I eventually had to make a phone call and write a check to my own company. No, but Hole in the Wall is going strong. We're here in Orlando. Obviously, our headquarters is here. We started franchising a few years back now, so we got 24 locations open up across America now.
That's amazing.
So I think we're pushing along pretty well.
That's great, man. That's great. And now, have you offered any new services the last time we talked? And then give me a list of your services that you do today.
Yeah. So typically, it's drywall repair. Okay, I get the question a lot. Do you guys do ceilings too? Obviously, we do ceilings as well.
Yeah, I was going to get to that popcorn ceiling or the different designs in the ceilings.
Popcorn ceiling, all the special textures. We specialize in matching the textures. So it's like although Serpro already has this tagline, like it never happened.
Right.
We do that quite often. Obviously, non-structural carpentry, anything related to, let's just say you're a restoration company, go and do a 2-foot flood cut in a whole house. Well, that's baseboard, insulation. That's obviously the drywall put back, texture matching, painting. These are all things that we can do, like a one-stop shop for the homeowner and for the trade service partners that unfortunately happen to put damage in drywalls a lot.
Yes, they do. Or have an inspection company of somebody, it happens, doesn't happen often, but you'll get that call and say, oh man, somebody's foot just went through a ceiling, and we're not going to fix it. Ourselves in-house, we're going to call you to fix it on behalf of ourselves for the homeowner. And so one thing that we love about you, Hans and I talk about you all the time, it's like, the small little things to small jobs to big jobs, it doesn't matter. And then that you offer a very quick turnaround on your estimates. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's most of the time, if the repair is small enough, you can just email us or text us a picture or two of the scope of work, and we can shoot you off an estimate proposal within just minutes. You can accept it online, then we can go to the dispatch and they dispatch a crew. I've got 7 full-time crews, about to throw the 8th truck on the road here in a few weeks. We've got lots of coverage all over Central Florida, and then if you're even outside of Central Florida, we've got a location in Polk County and a location franchise in the Villages. And so we can handle pretty much anything from coast to coast here in Central Florida area.
And didn't you have like a house full of drywall with holes in it, and that you do training, or it was something I remember you described it, and I thought it just sounded
So part of our culture at Hole in the Wall is we want to have the best training there is, the top-notch training. And frankly, you go to McDonald's, a Big Mac is a Big Mac no matter where you go. Well, I want a repair from Hole in the Wall to be the same and at the highest quality no matter which location they have. So we developed the School of Rock Drywall Academy.
That's it. That was it.
Yeah, and then that's in our warehouse down by the airport, and we built kind of a fake house with a few rooms, bathrooms, tall ceilings, returns for windows and doors. We can train everything from base trim all the way up to basic hole repairs, popcorn removals, just all the things that kind of get somebody off the ground. So we have to hold a 2-week training course for all of our new locations. So we've got to get them up to speed as fast as possible, get their technicians trained, so when they go out to the field, they're ready to get the job done right.
That's great. And then so it's your website and a phone number. How do we get a hold of you to be able to get that free estimate if I want to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. Really easy to find, holeinthewall.com, HOLE, holeinthewall.com. We have a toll-free number, 844-NO-HOLES. Of course, you can call us locally in Orlando at 407-283-1069. And if you email office holeinthewall.com. It goes right to my entire office team here in America.
I'm surprised the website was available. You would think somebody would have just one of those things someone would have bought like for fun, like, hey.
They did. It was not cheap. I worked on getting that for 6 years. And so it actually came through right when I got the words, the name Hole in the Wall trademarked. Literally within like 6 months, I was able to get the website and whole 9 yards. So
nice.
It wasn't free, but it was definitely worth it. It's definitely a good part of our IP.
Yeah. If you would have had to add drywall or other words to it, it's already a pretty long name, right? Yeah.
Well, I already owned Hole in the Wall Drywall Repair.com. Yeah. I already owned HIW Drywall.com. No, Hole in the Wall's the best.
Right. There it is. Yeah. Not too long. It's right, but it's right on point to exactly your business right there. And so I like that. So that's kind of like your intake. So if I had a hole in my drywall, I can literally take a picture of it and send it to your office email address, and somebody's going to respond to me and say, this is how much it's going to cost, and this is when we can do it.
Yep. And if we can't, we'll either ask qualifying questions or we'll just send out an estimator to do a proposal on site for you.
Okay. Yeah. Say if it's a little bit more complicated, maybe multiple rooms that you've got. Okay.
The cool thing is if you're in say you're a trades partner, say a roofer or someone that uses Xactimate, you can just email us the Xactimate and we can actually build your proposal based on what the Xactimate says.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really good too. Yeah. Because there's a lot of B2B business out there. Like I said, if one of my inspectors fall through, I'm definitely going to call you and say, like, hey, I need you to fix this. And like you said too, it's important to match the texture, because not everybody is, a texture type of person. They can put the drywall up, and then sometimes you got to bring somebody else in to do the finishing. Might be the painter, might be somebody in between. So, but from what I understand, you do everything.
Yeah.
Start to finish, including the paint.
Yeah, we can paint too. We're not going to paint your whole house, but we'll definitely paint the areas that we're repairing. We'll definitely paint the rooms that we're repairing in. If we're doing a popcorn removal through the whole house, we'll paint your entire ceiling as part of the estimate for sure.
Yeah.
Again, we want it to be as easy as for you and really for like the property managers as possible. Because every time someone comes in the house, they got to notify the tenant 24 hours in advance. And so if you got people in there multiple trades, it could be drug out through many days or weeks. For us, it's one call. We arrange directly with the tenants, and then we can go take care of that putback for them.
Yeah. It's nice having internal crews too, as opposed to being more of an order taker. You take an order and find a guy to do it. Having folks that work for you. And
we don't have any 1099 crews. All of our people are W-2 employees. 7 full-time crews on the road. I got 25 employees, technicians in the field currently. They're just always out there working. And again, we cover everything from no job too small. So the doorknob hole, little Billy was playing baseball in the house and puts a hole in the wall. That happens all the time. Got some crazy stories, obviously from some crazy things, from people shooting crossbows in the house to, say you're a moving company. I won't name any names, but we have several moving companies on our list where someone backed down the staircase with a sofa in there. Their backside goes through the wall. Oh, no. So we will fix those buttholes just for them.
Pun intended.
Yes.
So that's great. I mean, and I imagine tenant move outs rather, for management companies. I imagine you get that call as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's a great resource, man. I'm again glad to have you on the show tonight. Getting a follow-up on that, and you mentioned having franchises and all that. So how long was that process, and are you now still in, are you where are you at in that process as far as bringing on new folks within your franchise?
Yeah, it was a fairly long process just because we didn't know what we didn't know. We'd run successful businesses, but we didn't know how to launch nationwide as a franchise. And so we hired a consultant group out of Atlanta. They came in, helped us build the franchise disclosure documents, helped us build some operations, things we needed that we had, but they helped us tweak it a little bit. We promptly changed everything they gave us because I like my designers and my web guys, people, my marketers are all better than them. But we then went to market, but no one ever tells you, okay, you can now sell a franchise. Now you got to go sell a franchise. How in the world do you go sell a franchise? And so we spent about 2 years really learning some lessons there. Got a couple locations. We did our Polk County and our the Villages location. And then about a year and a half ago, we ran into a company out of Waco, Texas called Fran Growth, and they specialize in launching brands and kind of bringing them to the next level. They were part of the Neighborly Group for years, which is a very large franchise home services brand company. And then since we launched with them about a year and a half, that's where we got 24 locations, just because we are on this really fast trajectory.
Oh, wow.
And so we got a great system in house. I got the ability to run 100 locations with my current team, so it's nice.
That's
But
great.
It's not cheap, but the journey is fun. I've got a lot of friends that say, "Well, how do I franchise?" Like, mortgage your house and let's have some spare cash.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a restoration contractor that started that model with franchising. First several years, it's like, listen, I'm not, we're not doing this to make money right now, because we're not. It's like, we can have 20, 30, 50, 100 locations, and until they're all making money. Well, he started to make money, right? So it'll be a long road, but very successful. I'm sure. And you having the training facility built in, and what a need for it everywhere in every market. What big markets have you hit already outside of Central Florida?
Yeah, we're really large in Dallas. I've got 4 locations in Dallas. I got Austin. I've got multiple territories in Denver and in Colorado Springs. The whole Southern Colorado area. We've got a location in Boston, Massachusetts, Raleigh, North Carolina, Boise, Idaho. My largest one right now is just outside of Pittsburgh in the Chester Valley region of PA. He's my largest franchise now. He's been open just over a year, and he was a former restorer, so he knows all the restoration people in his town. So all the large loss stuff, that was his baby. Yeah. So he's doing great. I mean, and we're North Florida up in Destin, the Panhandle area. I've got an amazing owner up there. That's working. And then we just launched in Michigan. I mean, Ann Arbor, Michigan. We're about to launch in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I didn't really know that was a spot that we would be focused in, but it sure is. People love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't? Unless they're like an Adobe house in New Mexico. I mean, everybody's got drywall, right?
Well, the stats are, there's 140 million homes in America, and 97 to 98% of them all have drywall in them. And so it's not a matter of if you need a drywall repair, it's just a matter of when.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And then them finding you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I think you already mentioned this. A lot of your focus or marketing is to be B2B and B2C.
Mm-hmm.
So
we focus on both, because about half of our profile is the B2C, right? We call her Helen the homeowner, right? So we built our entire marketing brand towards them. It's the moms and the dads that have children, or they do remodels or have an issue at their home. Who do you call to do that? And they're great. Those people are wonderful because they leave you the 5-star reviews. They pay you when you leave the job site. That's cash flow, right? Yeah. And they tell all their friends about you. And they're on the Facebook groups, and someone needs drywall, a drywall patch. They say, well, call Hole in the Wall. They won't patch it. They'll repair it. We love them. And then the B2B side, that's about the other half of our business, because we partner with, all the other trades. I got 21 solar companies alone just in Central Florida that use us, 45 roofers, countless restoration companies. They all put damage in walls and ceilings. They're all, whenever Tesla does a power wall, they always scar the drywall to put in that new breaker box, right? Well, they want to leave their customers whole, so they call us. We go out there and we do all put back, it'll paint it up nice and pretty again.
Nice. Nice. No, that's great.
I love the line, we don't patch it, we repair it. I think that's, the School of Rock I love, the no patch, we only repair. All those things they stick with you. Once you hear them enough times, they start to stick with you. That I'm not looking. The work I do when I do occasional drywall, I'm not telling my wife, hey, I'm repairing the drywall. I'm like, I'm gonna go patch the drywall so it doesn't look terrible.
Well, it's patch is a Band-Aid, in our eyes. So we want to make sure that you don't even see it. So we actually trademarked our tagline: "Love your walls again." Yeah. So I've got an in-house marketing team, and that whole team's amazing. So they're always working on our stuff.
I always find I'm always sitting somewhere when I find some whatever the defect may be. If it's a flooring or it's drywall, and you sit there and every day you're having dinner and you look and you kind of find yourself like looking at it again. So what are you doing? There's something wrong with the drywall. And then you look at it and like months go by and it starts to gnaw at you. It's like you feel like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. You're just like, all of a sudden you go, I can't do it anymore. What? I got to call a guy. I can't do this.
Now, real quick before the break, do most of your customers, if they redo their ceiling or if they have a big patch in there, do they say, are some of them saying, yeah, go ahead and put the popcorn back up, or are they saying scrape it all off and retexture? What are most of your clients?
Depending on the size of the repair, we can put the popcorn back up. But if it's an insurance claim, most of the time it's remove the entire popcorn ceiling and put a new texture, knockdown texture back.
Right. Yeah.
So we can do both.
Okay. All right. That's good. And so that's a much I don't know. Would it be cheaper in material to just put a different design kind of in there?
The special design is really more costly. We've got tow behind rigs that we can put a nice knockdown texture over the whole house. So.
Yeah. Good to know, man. Good stuff, man. All right, we're going to take a quick break, give some thanks to our sponsors, and we'll be right back with James Hole in the Wall and myself and Hans. What's going on? We'll be right back. All right, we're back live on Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial. The Answer here live in the Central Florida area. Check us out. We are sponsored by the Restoration Association of Florida. Check us out online, raflorida.org. Donate there and or become a member. If you're a contractor in the Central Florida area, anywhere in the state of Florida, you'd like to join our nonprofit association, do networking mixers, join others in this industry, raflorida.org is the way to get plugged in. Every month we do events all over the state of Florida, a way for other contractors to work with others in the industry to help build those power teams. Just makes a lot of sense. As James here with the Hole in the Wall Drywall works with other folks in the restoration industry and other service types of industries. As like I always say, it takes a village for us to put somebody back whole again, and that's in just about anything. But in this service market, and Hans, we talk a lot about property insurance related claims, putting the homeowner back to pre-loss condition, or I'll even plug ServPro again, like it never happened. And so they were.
We're plugging the tagline, not the service. Am I correct about that?
Well, or the person that was on here from ServPro. I was kind of thinking about them when they were on the show, but then I forgot. But anyways, whatever. So, but it all works out. Whatever. At least I plugged them, right? Does that make it legal? I think so, right?
I don't think anything could be illegal about it. I think.
Right. I mean,
all links good, Inc. Right? I mean,
right, especially in a good way.
It was all positive.
Good stuff. Anyway, all right. So I think I covered my bases there. Legally, right? Isn't that right, Hans?
100%.
Board certified attorney here.
I am.
So, anyways, I think we're good. Anyways, but we with that being said, like I said, it takes a village to put somebody back into that pre-loss condition. I say that a lot of times when we do our Restoration Association of Florida meetings, where we have a lot of folks from different areas of the industry. We have the inspection side, we have the roof tarper guy, we have the roof repair, new installation, and all the way down to the drywall guy, the electrician, the plumber. All those different trades. We work a lot with other inspection companies, home inspection companies, that types of thing. Many things, sometimes you run into a boo-boo, and, having somebody on your team that you can call quickly and say, hey, listen, man, I don't have time. I'm running house to house, making money. I can't afford to take a step back. I would rather call James, have him and his qualified guys fix it like it never really even happened. Like I did not step through that roof, and keep a happy customer, and I'm still moving on in my life, creating new business. So James, it's always good to have you on here.
Thank you.
Well, once again, how do we get a hold of it? I still love the fact that anybody that's listening right now has a little ding on their wall. If they open a door too hard, they can literally take a picture of it. They can send it to your office, and they'll have an estimate just like that.
Just like that. Yeah.
Without even have to be out. For me, it's just like I hate being able to or have to call somebody. They come out, give me the estimate, and then I'm like, all right, cool, I want it. And they're like, all right, well, our install team will be here in about 2 weeks, or whatever. And you're like, but you're here now. And in this case, you can just say, boom, you send it over. Whether you are a week or two out, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get that quote right there. You're not coming out, give me a quote, and then setting the inspection.
Yeah.
My God, and people have to take off work to be able to meet your guys there or whatever. I just think that's super convenient in this today's world of convenience. And then us with a lot of folks that work in property insurance related claims, they deal in Xactimate estimating. So being that you understand that, it can be able to push back that big estimate to them if they have a 2-foot flood cut, a 4-foot flood cut, or if they've got holes in the ceiling that they have to now strip down all of the texture and retexture, repaint. You can handle that job for them and put it back to them in Xactimate.
Yeah. Our job is to make it as easy as possible for the homeowner and for the trade service partner, right? So if it's a homeowner, we know that not everyone works from home. Not everyone wants someone in their house more than they need to be in their house. Mm-hmm. And obviously, during COVID, we all learned how to work, as hands off as possible. And so we designed systems so it's easy. So you literally just take some pictures, give a quick work scope. Hey, listen, we had a repair. We had this, that. We replaced water heater. There was water damage. Can you come, If you got a tape measure, even better. That's a 3 foot by 4 foot hole. I can give you a cost over the phone really with that. So you send that off to office@homeonthewall.com. You can go to the website, ask for a proposal right there, and my office team, they can whip out that proposal, and you literally just push a button on your email, I accept, and then my dispatch team calls and gets it scheduled. It's that fast. It's easy. And if not, we'll go out there and we'll just put our eyes on it.
When you've done a job, you should leave everyone with a tape measure with it says hole in the wall on the side of it, just to remind them all.
Yeah.
Next time you need some measured. But I did look up this because I was trying to think of something so you wouldn't have to plug ServPro given your business. Mm-hmm. Leave no trace is the official outdoor ethics code for Scouts of America.
There you go.
Leave no trace. You can be.
Do we have to do the scout sign when you're saying it?
I don't think.
Is it 3 or 4?
It's 3.
I can't snap my fingers the other way. 3.
I think I was in the scouts. Either that or I just ate a lot of Girl Scout cookies. I can't remember which one.
Leave no trace is the Boy. So you can say, hey, just like the Boy Scouts, we leave no trace.
We have what we call it's our internal. We'll get some behind the veil stuff here, but we have what we call the 3 C's: cover, complete, clean. This is how we train all of our people.
Yeah.
Is you spend enough time covering. That's your prep, right? We know that 5 minutes extra prep is going to save you half an hour cleaning later, or an angry customer because you got overspray on their Tiffany vase, right? Mm-hmm. And then you clean, or you complete the job to the hole in the wall standards. Make sure that's done. You don't take your plastic down until the customer's happy and they sign up on that I'm happy form that we have, right? And then you clean when you're done. You want to make sure that you're sweeping and mopping out the door so that no one knows you're there. There's no trace left behind. The only thing we want you to know that that we were in there is that damage to your wall is no longer there, and we want to make sure that it's happy, it's clean. We don't take lightly that you're allowing us into your house. It's an honor that you're allowing us in your house. We are not going to disrespect you by treating poorly. Most customers have had traumatic experiences, and I know those customers because when you talk to them, they go, I don't know, they're sharp and they're snappy, and man, don't make a big mess in this house. And my wife had to clean for 10 days after the last guy was here, and it's like, don't you worry. Listen, my crews carry air scrubbers. They carry dehumidifiers on doing popcorn removals. They all carry moisture meters. They all know how to handle themselves. We have all the PPE that we need to keep our employees safe, and we know how to contain your home, if necessary, even by using negative air pressure fit containment if we have to. We got it all taken care of on our side because we know what it's like to have messes in our homes, and we just don't want it. So the whole goal is use the 3 C's. If there's a warranty, we always can link it back to someone didn't follow one of those 3 C's.
Mm-hmm, absolutely, yeah. Drywall dust is crazy, and then the new thing is going to come later on is this whole silica dust thing. Disney has already started to employ silica dust testing after major drywall repair. When you're cutting into drywall, that dust that gets into the air, it could get through the lungs of your home. It could also kind of hang around for a while, and so it's something you want to kind of keep your ears out, or just kind of ear to the media as we're all learning more information about it. It's almost like a slow asbestos type of not necessarily that serious by any means, but in some cases there are high levels of silica present in some drywall. So we've heard of Chinese drywall. That's a different chemical called strontium. That's within certain brands of drywall, and it will how do I want to say
pit and rust everything in your house.
Yes,
is made of
I was going to say it'll accelerate the aging process and a lot of those things, and deem them either inoperable or cause a fire, things like that. So that's why it's bad, and it's good to have somebody that can test it. We can test it at AQA. Ways to find out who manufactures it and if you would have had it in your home. Usually it's like the whole neighborhood once they find that it's Chinese drywall.
Right.
But silica dust is something new that we want to, new that in a way that we're just like hearing more about it. I hate to say it, kind of like microplastics. We all like hear that it's like there and it's bad, but I still don't know what the hell it is. So, and it's very similar to the silica stuff that's coming. I was like, wasn't it always in there? And was silica the start of silicone? Because that's in a lot of stuff too. Like, so I have a lot of questions, even though we test for it. So, but always being up in education and today's world of AI, we don't mind the folks that want to get everything tested in their home, and they're a little bit anxious about everything. So I'm the guy to call when you have a paranoid wife at home that wants everything tested. I had this billionaire in maybe I won't even say where, but it was in the greater Central Florida area. It's pretty well known. But his wife was like so like just crazy over their house, and so we were testing for mold, and then they wanted us to test for allergens and things like that. And then she did some research. You heard about how things are getting carried around in your personal items on your phone and your purse and things like that. No lie, we tested her purse, and we charged full price for her purse testing. So we did. And
so what do you test the purse for?
So whatever she wanted at that moment, I almost thought she wanted us to do an allergen testing in there, but it's very difficult to do that in a small item. So we did some lift test, and then we did it on from our phone too. And I'm like, okay, like if that's what
swabs and lift and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this is good stuff. But definitely wanted to know about molds, where they were, where they weren't, and if she carried it around a lot, and some things that gave her the same types of symptoms. Runny nose, itchy skin, eyes watering, such like that, are molds are also an allergen, right? Or give you an allergenic reaction.
Right.
So, when a lot of those things are explained, it's like, okay, well, I know a lot about molds. Well, I don't know anything about allergens, and then they're like, all right, what allergens are you do you think you have triggers from? Have you got any testing? No. Right. So okay, you want me to do like a broad panel? Like how big of a panel can you do? I'm like, oh my god. So anyways, that was a fun job. But where's I going with that? But one thing, James, I wanted to get back to. I think that was great for not only us and but our listeners and the folks that are part of our organization at the Restoration Association of Florida. It's like what you said in a very small timeline could definitely help our folks. Somebody that might think about wanting to franchise. You just even named the company to help you grow, something that somebody might not even know that could have shaved years off of their endeavor. So I just want to say I thank you for sharing that information. And if you're just now joining the show, you can go back to it on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube, and hear what James is saying on about franchising, because it's interesting because we're in a different industry as a service related in this industry, service related type of services such as drywall. You can put us in with AC, you can put us in with plumbing and electrical and those types of folks, that we dispatch folks to the home for repairs, whatever it is, and or inspection, that kind of thing. So this is an interesting, different niche that we deal with every day. There is a complexity of an understanding on our clients and also our employees, the training thereof. I would tell everybody, I said, my job on a daily is an adult babysitter. Make sure everybody's playing nicely with others, especially the bigger the team, the more drama there seems to be. So,
absolutely, yeah.
But you run a tight ship there. You have a nice training facility, which I think is great, and a great platform for your folks that are wanting to come in and not only learn to do it, but buy a franchise and see that go all the way through.
The home services sector is the fastest growing sector in all franchising, right? Everyone thinks of franchise, they think of maybe a restaurant, or they think, back in the old days it was a lot of fitness, the gyms, and but the home services, first of all, it's a lower price point to get in because we don't have a brick and mortar store. It can be a home-based business to start, right? We have an office in Orlando, but you don't need an office to start a hole-in-the-wall franchise. And you start with one van, and I have a lease option, so they don't got to put a ton of money down. That includes all your outfitting and wraps, and then so literally for just a little bit of capital and some startup costs, they're able to run a growing business and then scale it at a market that's convenient to their area. Plus, think about it. Probably a dozen painting franchises, right? We all know a ton of restoration franchises. Mm-hmm. How many franchises do you know that are in the drywall repair sector?
Zero.
Yeah,
very few, right? There's a few out there.
Maybe janitorial services, I think, are the most popular one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we're really kind of in a growing sector, which is why our trajectory is like a hockey stick at this point. We're just kind of just rolling up with it. And because it's needed. And so we tell all of our new owners, listen, we want you to be the best resource in your community. No one knows your community better than the guy who owns the Raleigh, North Carolina franchise. So he can build relationships in his team, build relationships with other trades, sponsor little league teams, make sure they're taking care of their community, giving back to their community. We have several veteran-owned locations. We give discounts to veterans for the first territory. Every location has multiple territories, so they're broken up by zip code and by number of population per zip code. So you really can just buy 2 territories. You can buy 20. Doesn't matter. Just as long as you start a location in your area.
Well, what's the marketing like? I first heard of you when you came to do the show a few times ago. Mm-hmm. How do you get your name out there these days?
There's a few notches. There's really 3 phases that we do to marketing. One is when you get started, especially, you have to lean into your online support, right? So your brand awareness is important in your locations. That's your Google listings, that's your paid ads, Facebook ads. So when we light up all the social media, we light up all the Google profiles. We do their local service ads for Google if they need to, all the pay-per-clicks. And that in Orlando, that's about 1/3 of our calls is there. Now, for a new location, it could be 80%, for the first 6 months to a year. And then you spend time in your community. Go to your chambers of commerce. Go to trades meetings. Go to your building associations. You make relationships with other trades. You make relationships with other people who could then market. You go to BNI. If you're a BNI member, that's great because I'm in a BNI. I've got 28 members. That means I've got 27 salespeople out there always trying to look for referrals for me. And then your repeat customers start picking up. So once you get in the market and all of a sudden you get, the homeowners are out there referring you on Facebook and Nextdoor and all the other apps, then the momentum goes. Of course, you've got this amazing, beautiful rolling billboard of a van that has a hole in the wall about as large as we can make it on it. And that's got a QR code that goes to the location landing page. And we make it easy. Of course, 844 no holes is on everything. It's on my shirt. Yeah. So we make it easy to call and get service right away.
No, it's amazing, man. I think that I think many of our folks that are other business owners need to hear this, because everybody markets in a different way. Everybody has a different niche. I love B2B because I think that's the best for me. The restoration folks are there in the home while disaster has right after disaster struck, and so you don't call me to suck up the water afterwards, but you'd call me if the water has been extracted and now you're left with moldy drywall to get that inspected, write a protocol, that kind of thing. So I definitely lean into B2B. I think it's a great mix that you have with the B2C, direct to consumer, and then also your B2B. I think Hans, I think we all do that in the home services market, so to speak, where you service homeowners, and a lot of the folks that refer you are out there. They're the first responders. Yeah. They're the ones that kind of are there to help them put a patch on their roof. I love that because we're here with the drywall guy.
They're there to repair the roof, I think.
There you go. Where I was going with that.
Well, repair ceilings, not roofs. But
yeah. Well, I wasn't referring to him. I was saying the roofers that refer you, but I'm using the word patch because of James here. So, but patch the roof up after disaster, right? But those are the folks that we deal with on a daily. So, I think it's great for any business owner to kind of open their eyes to that and not just see that, hey, consumer or direct to consumer is the only way that I market. Google isn't the only way to market. There are ways to get involved in the community, like you said, James. I think it's notable to say that getting involved in your local chambers are a great idea. It's usually like a once a month type of thing, and everybody's there. BNI is more once a week, more Nazis that make sure that you're there every week, and if you don't,
it's a commitment. I would say, I think BNI really though is a great model for many of us. I'm in a chapter myself.
Sure.
Yeah,
I know you are, and Angela is.
Yeah. And I was 20 plus years ago. That's why I can talk trash about it. I was in the founding Orlando BNI member. I still talk to many of those folks today, at least 10 of them from our original group I still talk to today.
Yeah.
After that long, or if I have something like, my original mortgage guy came from there, or like the phone guy, and all this stuff. It's like any of those things, I call them first, like even a health insurance kind of thing. If somebody wants to go on their own outside of our company insurance and get a different insurance, like I know exactly who to call. He was in my BNI group. But you're right, though. Those are like different salespeople for you. And in my industry, there are other folks that work in these in the same home services that I like to market to on the daily. Take them to lunch. You see so many clients a week. I'd like to add on and see how I can be helpful in your network.
Yeah.
So if you're a solar guy or whichever, and then something tends to happen there when you're installing solar, when you're installing a new roof, whatever it is. We have that scenario, and as an inspection company, a foot might go through a drywall every now and then. So you build your network up. I think it's very important. Any business owner should not be afraid to talk to even similar businesses of their of what they perform in, just so you know more people. The more people that you know in this industry, and you being a special or have a specialty in that arena, like this is my bread and butter. Hans is if you have a roof claim against your insurance company, you call Hans. There's just so many things that that stands out, and you want to stand out in your circle as being, I'm the expert in this thing, right? And for me, it's inspections, right? When you talk about mold, talk about asbestos, talk about lead, we talked about silica dust just a little bit ago. You talk about inspection, I want to be the guy called for. If there's a hole in your drywall, James, that's the guy to call, and/or to send an email to office@holeinthe.wall.com. And get your free estimate there. But Hans, man, I know last couple of weeks, and I've been to follow up with you. You've been still doing mediations with insurance companies and having success there for your clients.
Yes.
And just kind of getting back to that, and we bring in the crazy articles that we're seeing and that we know of from the insurance market, and we're not seeing any good improvement from either premiums going down or coverage kicking in and insurance companies doing the right thing. We're actually seeing the opposite. Are you seeing anything new, anything trending as we're going into new storm season this year?
A little bit. I'll step aside of that question for one moment. I think with DeSantis's legacy, trying to form a legacy with elimination, or not elimination by any stretch, but a reduction in property taxes, I swear to God, all I can ever think of is that he's doing that because since he allowed the insurance companies to jack up their rates so much, and hearing all these people complain about insurance rates, enough where they may have to leave their home, right? We see that all the time now. Well, he took their money to run for president, took their $100 million to run for president, lost that, so we put it all on red at roulette, and it all went bad. But then he comes back and he's got upset constituents over their insurance rates, which he allowed to occur.
They said it's so expensive to live here in the state of Florida.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. And when he
says, "Well, I can't do anything about insurance because I got bought out, so I'll do something about your property."
I'm telling you, that's all I can ever think of when I see the talk about that change. That people talking about it, they can't afford to live here. Their insurance is too high, and I remind people all the time that insurance companies can't do anything. They can't raise their rates by a penny unless the state and OIR, Office of Insurance Regulation, allows them to do so. So we all complain, oh, my insurance rates are so high, they're so high, I'm getting ripped off. Well, the government is ripping you off because they're allowing those premiums to increase for all the reasons that we talked about. So I look at this property tax reduction, and all I say is he's literally he's going to make the state more affordable, right? Affordability is the big word these days. He'll bring down taxes, potentially bankrupt the entire state over the next period of years. As I hope cops still come to my house.
What I've heard is that the big municipalities are going to be fine. It's the smaller counties and cities that are going to have a problem with that.
Correct.
To not be able to find other ways to make up the revenue.
Exactly, and to which the state has already told those counties they're not going to guarantee funding to make sure they survive. They may end up getting annexed or rolled into bigger counties, and that's fine. But what I look at with that again is the states become unaffordable for many people because of property insurance and property taxes. I can't take back what I gave the insurance companies, but I can take away taxes and try to make it more affordable.
Now, I have a question, though, because this is what they ended up coming out with, from what I understand, and we're going to be voting on. It's going to be on the ballot in November. And so what they ended up coming up with is a ramp up. The first year is 150.
150, yes.
And then the second year would be up to 250,000. Yeah. So if your house is assessed, and that's where my question is
your homestead property.
Yes, your homesteaded property is the only thing that we're talking about here. Good point. So 150 on your homestead. So if you have multiple homes, then only your homestead will be able to get this tax credit.
Correct.
Up to $150,000 first year, $250,000 the year after, and then it stops there at that 250. So is everybody going to get a special assessment too? Because I go online right now, it's not even close to what my Zillow estimate is, for my house. Does that mean they're going to tighten that up? I mean, what's going to happen?
Well,
is it going to gum up? If our smart city's going to be like, you know what?
Or change the millage rate or change the rates and make the properties, they say worth more so they can still tax them more above the 250.
Right. That's where I was going. So
yeah, the problem when I always talk about whenever you try to meet a metric, like 250,000, and people say, okay, you got to stop there. We're not going to get the money. All you have to do, whenever you rely on a single metric, you can always work around it. Like you said, if someone says it's 150 this year, it used to be, it's 50,000 now.
50,000, right?
So the next 100, like you say, so the counties go, well, let's just change the millage rate, which is what they multiply to come up with land value or home value. And they simply jack it all up $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, if you want to meet a metric, I can always find a way to meet it, but it's not going to be good.
Right. And I've seen it like to where it's like, this is how much your land is. This is how much the building is. Are they going to go back and be like, well, that land's a little cheap there. Let's jack it up a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, now, and that's just residential homestead. So
Correct.
Commercial buildings, things like that, not affected.
All excluded from that calculation.
Okay.
But it's worth billions and billions of dollars. And someone said to me the other day, and I didn't understand what they said. They said, when you pay taxes on the house when you buy it. And I go, I didn't pay any taxes on my house. They're talking like they paid like sales tax. I'm like, you didn't pay 7% on top of your home price. And because they're going, oh, I already paid taxes when I bought the house. And I'm just like,
yeah, I heard that too, and I was like, yeah, I sure did. And then when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I don't.
Nobody pays taxes when you buy that.
I don't think I remember paying taxes.
That's the second guy in a couple of days who have said, I paid taxes when I bought the house, and I'm just like, no, you really didn't pay any taxes
when you went to the store to put, to get some groceries and put gas in your tank, you paid tax.
Right, exactly. So, but I've heard that a couple of times from people who are offended because they already paid taxes once, and I'm just like, yeah, no, it's not exactly how
but
that
I do
works.
think you pay your government taxes or whatever it is, up front. Who knows? I don't know. But
just saying. But so again, my view of this from folks when you vote in November, whatever political party you may be in, that I think this is a way for him to make up for the fact that he sold himself out to the insurance companies. He's going to let them continue to profit and take money out of potentially all of our pockets to some extent.
Yeah, it's frustrating to see that, and that be his legacy to say, oh yeah, I'm going to make it more affordable to live here in Florida, when he's the reason why we're paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year, where we were paying way less than half of that, and we had better coverage. So now we got worse coverage.
It's one of those don't mind the man behind the curtain, right? That's all I was talking about.
And Hans, how do we get a hold of you prior to storm season? I want to check my policy ahead of time.
Please,
how do we get a hold of you?
I'm 888-878-4267. That's my office line. That's 888-878-HANS. 407-782-0258 is my cell phone. Feel free to call us whenever you want. Talk to Vanessa. She speaks Spanish, too, if you need somebody.
All right. And KennonLaw.com. That's how you get a hold of him, is on his website. James, great to see you, my man. HoleInTheWall.com is how you get a hold of him.
Yes, sir.
Office at HoleInTheWall.com is how you get your free estimate. Man, great to have you on the show. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank
See
you.
you.